host, Betty Spaghetti, and today we are going to learn all about Disney's FastPass Plus program. It's a lot to handle, but take a deep breath. We'll get through it. Time planning a Disney trip, you may have heard about FastPass or FastPass Plus, and you might not be too sure what it is. Well, it's okay. It can be a little overwhelming, but we're going to get through it and we're going to break it down for you. So basically, the Disney FastPass Plus program is a reservation system that helps secure your place in line on some of Disney's more popular attractions. Now, it's available to everybody with a valid ticket, regardless of where you're staying, on-site or off-site, but there are some differences in how you can approach FastPasses if you're staying at an on-site hotel. And an on-site hotel is any of those hotels or resorts that are run by Disney. We'll go over that in a minute. But what you need to know is that Disney's FastPass Plus is absolutely free, and you can get up to 3 passes per day that you can use to ride on any of the rides in a single park. Now, you can't reserve a ride in Epcot in the morning and then a ride in Magic Kingdom in the afternoon. They have to be reserved for one single park. Now, once you've used all 3 passes that you've reserved for a day, you actually can go back into the system and reserve 3 more passes. So keep that in mind when you set up your reservations. Now, the first thing we're going to go over is, when should I book my FastPass? Now, this is so important. If you are staying at a Disney resort, in other words, if you're staying at a hotel that sort of is on property, sometimes you may get it as a package deal with your tickets or your tickets on your flight, anything like Disney's Art of Animation or Disney's Polynesian Village Resort or Coronado Springs, anything that's on the Disney website listed as a Disney property or Disney resort is considered a Disney hotel. If you're staying in one of those resorts, you're going to get a few extra benefits. One of those benefits is that you can reserve your FastPass 60 days before your trip. Now, this is an advantage over people who are not staying at a Disney hotel because they can only reserve their FastPasses 30 days before their trip. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, so follow along. If I'm going on a trip, say August 1st to August 7th, I can reserve my FastPasses for the whole trip 60 days before my first check-in day. So in other words, I can reserve reservations for August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all on the same day, 60 days ahead of time. Now, this is important to know because you may try to get some of those more sought after, hard to find FastPasses at your 60-day mark, and it might be hard to get them, but if you book them for further along in the trip, you'll actually have more luck doing so. For example, let's start with probably the hardest FastPass to get, Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is a wonderful, extraordinary ride at Animal Kingdom. It's a virtual reality ride where you're riding on a banshee and you actually connect with them. And you get to go through the wonderful world of Pandora and experience the sights and the smells and the feelings that go along. You actually feel as if you are a banshee flying through this land. It's an amazing ride. And because of this, the FastPasses are really, really hard to get a hold of. So now keep this in mind when you're making your FastPasses. The first thing you need to know is set that alarm on your phone for 60 days before the first day you check in, and you want to go on that computer. I know it sounds crazy, and this is the part that sort of scares a lot of people who are going for the first time. you really want to set the alarm for 7 a.m. Eastern time, because believe it or not, there's going to be scores of people online exactly 7 a.m. hitting that refresh button, trying to get those hard to get fast passes. Okay, so you're going to get your espresso. You're going to wake up 7 in the morning Eastern time. Hopefully you're not on the West Coast. You'll have to wake up a little earlier. You're going to keep trying for those fast passes. Now, if I can't get Pandora Flight of Passage on day 1 of my check-in, that's okay. I'm going to keep trying day 2, day 3, day 4. You actually might find that it's a little easier to get the Flight of Passage, which is probably the hardest fast pass to get, towards the end of your trip. Because if you think about it, the 60-day window is moving for everybody, yeah? So it might be the last day of your trip, but it might be the first or second day of somebody else's trip, and they're not able to sign on yet to get the fast pass. Follow? It's a little tricky, but we got this. Trust me, we got this. So the first thing you want to do if you are staying on site is get that Flight of Passage fast pass. Now remember, once you book a fast pass for one park, now this is going to be the Animal Kingdom park, you can't book any fast passes in other parks. So we can't get one for Epcot on that day or for Hollywood Studios, but that's all right, because I'm going to show you how to get passes to them later. So you want to book a couple more experiences on that day at Animal Kingdom. Now, the Navi River ride is actually right across from Flight of Passage. That ride has a long line, but not as long as Flight of Passage does. However, both of these rides are considered upper tier attractions. So you are not going to be able to get, unfortunately, a fast pass for both those rides. You'll have to pick one, and I would strongly suggest that you pick the Flight of Passage. It's an amazing, amazing ride. There is a trick that you could use to get onto Navi River, and I'll go over that in one of my later videos for how to get on some rides when you don't have a fast pass. You'll notice that the wait times for some of these rides can be up to 2, 3, even 4 hours long. So you definitely don't want to spend your time sitting in line when you could easily do it just by putting aside this little time to do some planning and work ahead of time. So tip number 1, get that Flight of Passage fast pass, okay? Once you've secured that, try to get, if you have some more adventurous people in your party, you might want to get Expedition Everest. You can get that. That's not a upper tier fast pass. You could get that on Animal Kingdom Day. Another one would be the Safari. That's a great one. All of the experiences and events at Animal Kingdom are phenomenal. You really can't go wrong. But some of them, such as Flight of Passage, are a little harder to get. All right, so now you've secured your Flight of Passage fast pass. You've got a good day planned out, your Animal Kingdom day. What's the next one that you absolutely need to get? Slinky Dog, okay? That's the Slinky Dog Dash roller coaster. It's located in Hollywood Studios. So you're gonna make sure once you get that Flight of Passage, you pick out what you want for the rest of your Animal Kingdom day. Go ahead and pick out another day, and now you're gonna book your Slinky Dog Fast Pass, all right? Now, some of the other attractions in that area include Toy Story Mania, and there's an Alien Spinny ride that's a lot of fun too. Those rides will also have a longer line, but the Slinky Dog Dash is very elusive and very hard to get. You absolutely want to get that fast pass, okay? Now, again, these are top tiers. Once you're in Hollywood Studio, if you've got that Slinky Dog fast pass, you're good to go. You won't be able to get a Toy Story Mania, or I believe you also might not be able to get the Tower of Terror, which is way too scary for me anyway, and I would never even dream of getting it. But that's another fast pass that's hard to get in that park, and it's also an upper tier. And the same with Rock and Roller Coaster, which is kind of a fun roller coaster, but it does go upside down. It can be a little scary, but Disney will only allow you to pick one of these upper tier attractions. You're definitely going to want to go with Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios, okay? Now, when you're picking a fast pass for the Magic Kingdom, there are no tier systems, so you can just go ahead and pick out any 3 rides that you like. I suggest, it may sound a little silly, but I would suggest the Peter Pan ride because the line at Peter Pan does tend to get very, very long. If you can get a Peter Pan fast pass, that's great. Also, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that's a fun ride. Definitely try to get that fast pass if you can as well. Okay, so if you are 30 days out and you can make your reservations, in other words, if you're staying at any of the other hotels that are not on Disney property, then you are going to do the same thing. You're going to set your alarm for 30 days ahead of the first day that your ticket is valid. And you're going to undo the same thing. You're going to pick and choose which rides you want. It's going to be really hard for you to get the Flight of Passage, and it's going to be really hard for you to get Slinky Dog. They're probably all scooped up, but I would just keep trying and going through and seeing if you can get one of those fast passes. If not, have no fear. We're going to do another video that'll tell you some tips and tricks for getting on those hard to get to rides when you don't have a fast pass. We'll help you out with that. But definitely go on and get some of the other rides. And then remember the same rules. You can only get fast passes in 1 park per day, and you can get up to 3. You can only get 1 of those top tier level rides. For Epcot, if you have little ones, I would try to do Frozen Ever After. That's a really fun one. It's like a river ride on a little boat. There's also GM Test Track. That's really fun. You'll be able to see which ones are more elusive because they'll actually be in a separate, I believe it's like divided in half, and it'll say you may choose 1 experience from this list. Okay. All right. So you've got your fast pass. Now again, that's 7 a.m. 30 days out if you're off property. So set that alarm 30 days in advance of your very first day that your cards are valid, or 60 days in advance if you're staying off property. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Let me see. Pause, Brendan. Stop it right here. Oh, wait, I'll just press pause. Okay, so finally, one last thing I wanted to tell you is after you're at the park, you're having a great time, you went on your 3 rides, you used your 3 fast passes, guess what? You can actually go into your My Disney Experience app and you can book 3 more fast passes for that day. Now, hopefully you've already put the My Disney Experience app on your phone, but if you have not, you absolutely can just go to the App Store right now, put it on your phone. You can input your reservation number if you bought your tickets directly through Disney. If you bought your tickets through another source, on the back, there's actually some numbers in here that you can just input right in, and that will connect all of your information together, and you'll be able to make adjustments to your fast passes right from your phone. That's a great extra perk to have, and you can kind of, if you're not feeling a certain way while you're down there, you can easily change your fast passes when you're down. You can push them ahead, you can push them back, you can cancel them, you can rebook them, whatever you need to do, obviously pending availability. So this has been a great experience. Thank you so much for giving me a moment to help you navigate through the crazy world of Disney Fast Passes, and I look forward to seeing you in some future videos. Bye-bye.